Today on Drawbli.
I am feeling motivated because of nice YouTube comments.
Hey, I'm Ben.
And I'm Abby.
And we are drawing together because art is better with friends.
So click that subscribe button if you're new around here.
And check out Brush Club at the link below in the description.
Okay, so I got on YouTube Studio, which I had not done in a very long time.
I think you got logged out. It had been
I had
so
been
long.
logged out. Also, I have this practice now of not bringing my phone to work to combat, just endless doom scrolling. Not that I need to be doing it at work, but I have a less challenging job right now, so it's great. I love not having my phone. I love it. It's like crack to not have my phone. It is so good.
What?
Yeah, it's like the opposite of addictive, but it's addictive.
But you're talking about a good thing that just came from your phone.
Yes. So anyway, got on my phone. I love my phone. My phone's great. And I got on YouTube Studio and I looked through a backlog of comments. I just hadn't read them in a long time, and I was just so motivated. Everybody in the comments was so nice. And
we have very nice commenters on our videos. This is true.
We do. And I actually remember the day I did it, I actually was feeling a little blue. I went for a drive. I went to a Starbucks I'd never been to before because I just needed to drive like I was in a 90s movie. It just,
wow.
And I
because
got
90s
there.
movies are all about being sad and driving to a Starbucks.
Yeah. And I got there and I sat down. I was like, I don't want to draw. I brought my iPad, but I was like, I had my 2/3 decaf latte. And I got on YouTube Studio, and like within 5 minutes, I was like, I want to draw so much right now because everybody was just so nice. And I was so surprised by how awesome that was and how motivating that was. So I would say for anybody out there who's not feeling motivated,
read our YouTube comments.
Read our YouTube comments.
Or leave us a nice YouTube comment. I think putting positive energy, out into the world is probably a good thing in general that will help you feel better and come back to you all in all.
Yeah, or join a forum, make your own YouTube channel, do something, put your work out there and let the energy circle back to you. So worth it. So I was feeling really cool and motivated now, so I drew some really cool ladies on motorcycles. I did the thing where I draw the background first, and then as a reward, I get to draw the foreground.
And the background in this case is the motorcycle?
No, the background in this case was the background.
Oh, the boring, okay, gotcha.
Yes,
gotcha.
that didn't
But you
take
used some
long.
really cool textures and brushes from the garden brush pack. Very nice.
Yeah. And as I've been using all the brushes from Brush Club, I've started to, jump around, be like, oh, I really like this brush from Lunchbox or this brush from the garden.
Yeah, and that's the point, find the brushes that you enjoy playing with.
Right, but each new brush pack still motivates so much to get in there and try a new artwork. So there's another motivating factor. Being consistent in art a lot of it is finding new, refreshing sources of extrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation gets you far, but only so far.
Yeah.
And you have to, it's almost like a discipline of finding those sources of extrinsic motivation.
For me, I feel like a lot of that extrinsic motivation comes from my environment, which is probably why a lot of the time I'll go to a coffee shop to draw, because I enjoy not being at home alone. Just that feels like a boring, kind of lonely place to try to create
You're here all the
artwork.
time. I'm sorry.
So
I go to work.
I'll go to a coffee
coworkers.
shop to do some drawing and be around other people, and that is like a extrinsic motivational factor.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love going to coffee shops.
Why do you look so sad when you say it like that?
Because I'm sad for you.
I'm not sad.
I know. I'm actually really jealous. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're home all the time. That sounds amazing.
I mean, it's a thing. Anyway, your motorcycle looks amazing. You have a lot of really cool textures going on here. I like this a lot.
I was really excited to kind of let it start very messy and sort of refine it down.
And that's so hard to do.
It is. And it worked. I was pretty happy with this result. So I did another motorcycle girl, and I think we just got to today and the time we want to record, and I was like, well, she has to be done then. So she was done before her motorcycle, the next motorcycle girl, is all the way finished. So.
I think it still looks really good, so I don't think you have anything to worry about. I really like this character. This looks awesome. This is super cool. And this is what I've been talking about lately with your art style, really coming to a head.
Yeah.
I feel like the style of your characters in particular is really kind of hitting a hitting a good spot.
Well, cool. I don't see it yet myself, like what the distinct traits are, but I'm glad that you do.
It's the shapes and proportions that you use in your characters' faces. I have seen a through line since the beginning of Drawbli where your faces for your characters are actually very similar to, what you were creating back then, but it's just a more refined, more appealing version of that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love the lighting in that as well.
I like how it feels like a quick sketch too.
Yeah.
Okay, so something I've talked about recently is how difficult it has been for me to do faces on a full figure and work within like a small area of pixels. So for this, I decided to play around with creating the face large first and shrinking it down, which I've tried in the past and had bad results with.
Oh, really?
So I figure I would try it again and see if repeating the same thing twice would in fact actually result in a new change and improvement.
Okay.
And it did. It went better this time.
Okay, that's good. This is also a very difficult lighting situation on this character's face, so I can,
I left the face just a lot brighter than the reference. You'll see it's so much brighter, and I just embraced that. I never was able to finish the motorcycle to full, like...
I think it actually, I've seen the finished version, and I think it works.
You think it works? Okay.
It looks super cool because...
It's like really sketchy.
Well, the thing that happens when you have one part of a painting that's more refined and the other part that's not is that you bring focus to the refined area, which in this case is the character.
That's true.
So it's like the hint of a motorcycle, and because of that...
hint of a motorcycle.
And it's got a lot of cool texture, so I think it looks awesome.
Awesome. Well, I was still riding the high of, all the positive comments. So no matter what happened, I wasn't feeling down about it. I was just impervious at that moment to any feelings of blueness. It was surprising just how much of a mood booster that was. So
what do you have to say to people who really are kind of scared or, let's say, apprehensive about sharing their artwork online?
I would say go ahead and start dating and then marry somebody, but make sure it's somebody who will just kind of say, do it, you can do it.
Marry a yes man,
yeah,
or a yes woman, or a yes person in general. Okay.
Yeah, find somebody to leap the hurdle for you.
So I am the extrinsic motivator for
at the end of the day, you're the biggest extrinsic motivation there is.
So would you say you would never share your artwork online if I hadn't?
I wouldn't have pursued learning more about how to, refine art and become better at art without you. I just would have still been doodling the same eye endlessly on the same scraps of paper. I wouldn't have.
But you like art.
Oh, I do.
I don't. It feels like you're almost saying that I forced you to get into art. Ugh, you're welcome.
Yeah, literally,
First of
you're
all.
welcome. No, you are a visionary, Ben. You can see visions of the future, and I'm not a visionary.
I have vision.
I have zero entrepreneurial spirit, so I'm just kind of hooked onto you and hanging on for dear life to the ride.
This is not true at all. I think you have plenty of spirit and what have you.
I certainly have a work ethic. I will say that for myself is I am...
I don't. Go ahead.
You have a work ethic too. That's not saying you don't. But once applying myself to a task, I can work endlessly at it, typically. And
that's how I view myself. I am nothing more than a worker bee. I can separate myself as the worker bee and, kind of like a boss to myself, where I can say, okay, worker bee Ben, it's time for us to do some work. We're gonna go, do this painting.
Yeah.
And, then boss me goes away and worker bee me grabs the iPad.
That's so funny. Oh, gotta do this for the boss. No, I have in IRL bosses, so that kind of helps me not have to be boss Abby to myself. I'm more like little trickster Abby to myself. What if we just draw for 5 minutes? And then suddenly, it's 30 minutes later.
This often works for me as well.
Yes. And then for my
1 minute rule,
current job that brings in money, it's as simple as I'm going to go clock in. And hit that time clock life.
Time clock life.
It's all I've ever known. Although technically speaking, I don't know if, well, that's waitressing isn't really a time clock sort of life.
Same
It's
idea.
a hustle, kind of a hustle. But yeah. Anyway, that's a rabbit trail from what I did to make money in college.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's our really scratchy motorcycle with a slightly more refined shirt.
I like this.
And
I think this is super cool.
I enjoyed working on it. Yeah, I now that you mention it and so kindly say that, despite the unfinished everything about it, and there is so much that's unfinished, and the end result is we focus more on the face.
And if you're unfinished, click that like and subscribe button.
And check out Brush Club at the link below in the description.
And this is the part where we say...
Goodbye.
Goomba.
Ben, have you ever been on a motorcycle?
I have driven a motorcycle.
That's cool. How fast did you go?
Not very, but the first time I remember grabbing the handle, which is where it accelerates, the throttle, and I was like, whoa, and almost fell off.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm kind of cool.